Hello guys, I welcome all of you to today's Pharmcast, and today we'll discuss 5 drugs of choice and one question that was asked by a student which I could not discuss yesterday due to lack of time. And that question was how to deal with depression during preparation, right? So I'll discuss that at last. And let us straight away begin with our drugs of choice, guys. The first one, so we have now, right, we are alphabetically moving on, and we are already on alphabet D. So dracunculiasis, guys. Dracunculiasis, it is the only nematode, right, for which we use a drug that is not from the anti-helminthic drugs, but that belongs to something else. So dracunculiasis, the drug of choice is metronidazole, guys. Metronidazole. So it is the only helminth against which metro is the drug of choice. Now moving on to the second disorder, that is drug-induced Parkinsonism. So guys, drug-induced Parkinsonism can be seen either because of drugs which are D2 blockers, which block D2 receptors like antipsychotics, or the prokinetics like metoclopramide, or drug-induced Parkinsonism can also be seen because of abrupt withdrawal of D2 receptor agonists like bromocriptine and other drugs. Now guys, the drug of choice for drug-induced Parkinsonism, these are anticholinergics like benzhexol, which is also known as trihexyphenidyl. So you need to remember both the names, right? Either of one name would be in your exam. Benzhexol, also known as trihexyphenidyl. Now remember the alternatives as well. Now if you don't have anticholinergics, you can use an antihistaminic, which is a very potent anticholinergic effect. Which one is it, guys? Think. It is promethazine like drugs. So promethazine can also be used in drug-induced Parkinsonism. Moving on, guys, now to Echinococcus granulosus multilocularis, guys. What is the drug of choice? It's an easy one, guys, isn't it? For most of the helminths, the drug of choice is either albendazole or praziquantel, right? These two are most commonly. So which one is it? Albendazole or praziquantel? Guys, Echinococcus, right? It is a cystodes. For cystodes like Echinococcus, the drug of choice is albendazole. Most of other cystodes, usually praziquantel is the drug of choice. If you don't have albendazole for Echinococcus, you can also use mebendazole, right? Moving on to the fourth disorder for today, it is a bacteria, guys, E. coli. What is the drug of choice for bacteria E. coli? Guys, remember most of the gram negatives, right? E. coli, Klebsiella, and gonorrhea. For all of these gram negatives, the preferred antibiotic is ceftriaxone, right? So there are only few gram negatives where ceftriaxone is not effective, like Pseudomonas, right? Ceftriaxone is not effective against Pseudomonas, like Enterobacter, like Acinetobacter. So against these, ceftriaxone is not effective. Now moving on to the last disorder for today, edema. Now guys, edema, for example, if there is pulmonary edema, in that case, our drug of choice is furosemide. Now one thing they ask you guys is, what is the first effect? What is the first effect that gives us relief in pulmonary edema? Is it diuresis or is it vasodilatation? What do you think? Guys, vasodilatation, to be more precise, venodilatation comes first. That decreases preload on the heart and relieves pulmonary edema. It comes faster as compared to diuresis, right? Second, guys, if it is an edema because of liver cirrhosis, then the drug of choice is spironolactone. If it is an edema that is cerebral edema, in that case, what is the drug of choice? As all of you know, cerebral edema, the drug of choice is mannitol. So mannitol is the drug of choice for cerebral edema, right? But you need to remember regarding mannitol that mannitol, it cannot move through the capillaries of the cerebral blood vessels, right? That is why it will remain in the blood vessels, cerebral blood vessels, and extract water. But in other parts of our body, mannitol can diffuse out of those capillaries and take along with it water into those tissues. For example, in lungs, it can do that and cause pulmonary edema. So guys, mannitol is a drug that is used in cerebral edema, but it itself causes pulmonary edema as a side effect, right? That can be also due to the increase in blood volume that is seen with mannitol. Now, at last, if it is a case of resistant edema, an edema, any type of edema due to your heart failure or edema due to renal failure, or any cause of edema, if it is resistant to every other drug present in this world, what is the drug of choice? Then the drug of choice is spironolactone. So guys, pulmonary edema, furosemide; liver cirrhosis edema, resistant edema, spironolactone; cerebral edema, mannitol. So that's all from the drug of choice section for today, guys. And here, now coming to the anti-cancer drugs. So as I said, I'll be discussing one anti-cancer drug every day. So today, guys, I have chosen the anti-cancer drug called as imatinib. So imatinib is a very commonly asked drug in your JIPMER and AIMS exam. They love to ask about imatinib. So all of you know what is imatinib. Imatinib is a BCR-ABL tyrosine kinase inhibitor. Yes, it is BCR-ABL tyrosine kinase inhibitor. And imatinib, it is the first generation drug in BCR-ABL tyrosine kinase inhibitor, and imatinib is drug of choice for CML, chronic myelogenous leukemia, as well as GIST, gastrointestinal stromal tumor. So imatinib has two important indications, both have been asked. Now in case of CML is quite commonly asked in your exams. Right, if a patient does not respond to first generation BCR-ABL tyrosine kinase inhibitor, that is imatinib, then I can go for second generation drugs. Second generation drugs like bosutinib, nilotinib, and these drugs can be used, right? If my patient does not respond even to third generation drug, then in that case we can go for ponatinib. That is a third generation drug, ponatinib, PONATINIB. And the resistance that is seen to the second generation drugs, it is because of a specific mutation that is called as P315I mutation. So in that case, we'll be using ponatinib. So imatinib, no response to imatinib, second generation; bosutinib, nilotinib, dasatinib, no response, ponatinib. Even if there is no response to ponatinib, then we can use omacetaxine. Omacetaxine, guys, it is a BCR-ABL protein inhibitor. So if I cannot inhibit the enzyme, I'll inhibit the product, that is the protein. Now even if the patient does not respond to omacetaxine, then what can I do? I can use interferon alpha. Interferon alpha, it is very effective, but it is not used as a first line drug because of the side effects and all which are associated. So guys, that is one anti-cancer drug we had to discuss today. That is imatinib. The most important things you need to remember is two places where it is drug of choice. One is CML, second one is GIST. Right, guys, let us move on to our last part in the PHARMCAST, and that is how to deal with depression that is associated with preparation. So guys, let's first analyze that the cause of depression during preparation, right? So to be specific, you cannot call it exactly depression. You are not exactly depressed per se, but see, usually what happens is your quality of life changes while you are preparing, because you are not able to enjoy things around you, because you are under a lot of pressure. There is a lot of expectation from you, from your parents, friends, you from yourself as well. And there are multiple causes why you are under pressure, right? So that might give you some symptoms like anxiety, insomnia. So all these things, they happen during preparation, and it's pretty normal. It's pretty normal, guys. Even I was having insomnia while I was preparing, because I was under tremendous pressure to get a seat in pharmacology in a good institute, central institute. And there were two reasons to it. See, one is I was never interested in clinical branches, right? The moment I realized it, I thought, what should I do now? So I thought I'll go for pharmacology, because I loved the subject pharmacology. And I realized, if not clinical, then what is the thing that I would love to do, right? I'll be happy to do without getting tired. Then obviously the thing that came into my mind was teaching. So I thought I will take pharmacology, I will do teaching. And then I started preparing for your AIPG. At that time we used to have AIPG, right? So even though I wanted pharmacology, but I still wanted it from a good institute, right? Preferably from Delhi, because the stipend was good. And the problem is, I also come from a humble background, so there were financial problems and all, right? So we had some loans and all. So there was a whole lot of things. They create a kind of tornado kind of thing, and you are in the middle of that tornado. So it happens to all of us, guys. First of all, if you think that is only you who are on the boat, then don't think like that. And the moment you have to understand, the moment I got my result, right? The moment I got my result, and I've got a good rank, and my rank was good enough to fetch me even medicine or surgery or diploma in radiology or ortho or MS Obs Gynae, right? So the result was good, but I went for pharmacology because that was my dream. But the moment I got the result, I knew that I'll get a seat in Delhi, guys. My anxiety was gone, my insomnia was gone, and I used to sleep like a baby. Which means what? The first thing you need to understand, that you are not a patient of depression. This depression or whatever you can call it, you are feeling now is transient. I felt it myself. The day you will be through this exam, right? You will be through out of this stress. Everything you will see, they will disappear on their own. Now, coming to the causes, why these things they happen to us. So one thing I told you that this thing is not permanent if you are worried, right? Now let us analyze a little bit about the causes, what happens, right? And the most important cause, guys, why we get anxiety, why we get this insomnia is fear of failure. Fear of failure, fear of not getting, your seat, and the mere thought of repeating preparation for one more year, it runs a chill through the spine. It happens to all of us, like kind of hot flash, and it happened to me as well. But I realized one thing, guys, at the end, when I was through the preparation and when I saw the results, not only of my result, but results of all those whom I knew, right, co-aspirants, my friends, then whoever was honestly preparing, right, whoever was giving all the grand tests, reviewing those grand tests, and making a schedule, and right, whoever is honest in his preparation or not, you can see. But the most important person who can decide if he is honest or not, it is the person himself. So all those students whom I saw were honest in their preparation, they landed somewhere. Someone got 1500 rank, someone 1000, someone 3000, but all of them, they got something and they moved ahead in life. All of them are well settled, right? So you need to understand that this anxiety of failure is a human tendency. And if you look at the brighter side of it, this failure anxiety, it actually keeps you on toes so that you are not complacent and take things for granted. You know that you have to toil it, right? You have to work hard to get there. So if you're fearing that you might fail, is actually not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because you are not overconfident. And because you are not overconfident, you will work hard to get there. So guys, who fears at last? Think, who will fear? Who has invested so much in it? Who has a lot of stake in it? That is why you are having this fear, and it's not a bad thing, believe me, guys. Once you are through this phase of preparation, you get your seat, everything will disappear automatically. Second thing, guys, which I have noticed and is quite common in India as compared to the Western world, that is social pressure. Social pressure, so I'll speak couple of Hindi words which is very common, like log kya kahenge. In English, what people will say. So this is very common in India, guys. And in Western countries, the Western people, they don't give a dash about whatever anybody says, your neighbors or anybody, guys. Anybody means anybody. So the individual is very important, right? And the so-called people, they are always in our circle, and it's a human tendency. In India, I have seen that you always want to rise above in their eyes, right? You don't care about yourself. So remember, guys, all that should matter to you is what you think about yourself. Forget about others, what they will say, right? Because it's almost like the political parties, right? So they always have something negative to say about the opposition and so on. So it's something like that. So look at yourself through your eyes, not the eyes of your people around you who expect, and they expect something from you, they expect you to something to do. So this is something that happens while you choose your branch as well. Because I've seen toppers who are ranked 3, 4, 5, by compulsion they pick up a subject they don't love, like for example radiology, right? So you should not pick up radiology just because it's kind of in culture that you are a topper, you should pick radiology. No, you should pick up radiology only if you love it. Otherwise you will die in the dark room alone and lonely, right? So don't do that, guys. So always ask from yourself. The best person to ask is you yourself and nobody else. Now, guys, that is analyzing your problem, why it happens, so that you can calm. At last, I'll give you a few suggestions. What you can do is, guys, always look for free endorphins. Where can you get free endorphins? Physical activity, guys. Physical activity. So every day, 30 minutes, you should invest in whatever you like, jogging, walking, or some dumbbells, or yoga, or whatever, right? There are some other free endorphins, but I cannot speak because this is a public platform and you know all of that, right? So you're adults and you know that. So remember, guys, get these free endorphins, and little bit of physical activity is always important. You'll feel better. You'll feel elevated. You'll feel that feeling of little bit of euphoria because of these endorphins. So, guys, second point is, these are common points, guys. So because I don't have a magic wand that I can, remove your depression by just showing it in above your head. Second point is, guys, talk to your parents every day. See, talking to parents is something I'm sure most of you might be doing it, but some of us, we try to hold back once we grow up, right? Once we fly from the nest. No, don't do that. I'll tell you, even today, right? I'll be approaching 40 years in the next 2 years, and even today, I do call my mother and I talk to her at least for 30 minutes every day, and that is a constant part of my life. Like as I breathe, as I eat, as I sleep. So it's a constant part. It does not change. And every time I speak to her, after 30 minutes, I feel good. I don't know what kind of effect it has. It has a calming effect on me, right? Anxiolytic effect on me. So that is how, the mother and children, they are bonded with each other. So that also helps, guys. And talk to your parents, and these things will help you. So, guys, that's all I can say because these problems, they happen to all of us. We have problems, ups and downs in life, but we need to stay strong. We need to fight. And believe me, guys, the last thing I'd like to tell you is, if you're preparing honestly, right, you're honest to yourself, you'll get a seat. So get it out of your head and do whatever you're doing. Continue it with your full strength, and you'll get out there. So, guys, that's all for today. And if you have any doubts, concerns, guys, you can always let me know in the comment box. I'll try to include your doubt in one of my Pharmcast. So take care, bye bye. That's all. This is Dr. Ranjan with you.